Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today this is the first lesson of AP Calculus. Today we're going to be going through the idea of limits. So basically, let's just get like a quick kind of like short understanding of what it is for this lesson, and then we'll dive in deeper into it later on in this unit. But basically, if we had a function f of x equals, let's do x minus 1 over x minus 1. So as you know, this is a constant function, but if we had f of 1, this would be undefined because if you did 1 on this value, so 1 minus 1, that's 0. And then if you did 1 over here, that would be 1 minus 1, which is also 0. So that would be 0 over 0, and that's undefined. So the value of f of 1 is undefined. What if we want to find in a scenario where if this wasn't undefined, what the value could be? So over here, let's make a graph going through there. That's y, going through here, that's x, and let's say this here is 1, and we're gonna have the function f of x going through there like that. But then when we reach the value here of x equals 1, this is going to be open because it's undefined. But here's the thing. If we went and we took a look at this and we looked at where the function is going at that direction and when the function is going at this direction, it's both going towards y equals 1. So basically, even though the function is undefined at that point, it's still approaching the value 1 from both sides. So what we would use to explain this is the limit, and this is kind of fancy notation, but we'll go through this later, is the limit as x approaches 1. So from both sides, as the x values go towards 1, of the function f of x equals. So this is like the notation for limits, and like I said, we'll go deeper into this idea later on. But as you can see, if let's go y 0.5, x equals 0.5. So if I'm just gonna calculate this really quick, but if we had negative if we had 0.5 minus 1, that'll be negative 0.5. And if we did that same for here, that'll be negative 0.5 over 0.5, so that'll be 1. And then same for the other side, if we did, let's do 2. This would also equal 1. So as we're getting closer and closer from both sides, it's the value still going to equal 1. So at the limit as x approaches the value 1 of f of x would equal 1. Let's go and move on to another example so you kind of get a bit of a better understanding of this. Alright, so for our next example here, we have the piecewise function of h of x, which equals x squared when x doesn't equal 2, and 3 when x does equal 2. So let's go and really quick sketch a graph. It's gonna be a poor graph, but let's try to sketch a graph of what this might look like. So we have the graph here. This up here is h of x, and over here's x. And then let's put values on both sides. So 2, and over here negative 2. And then if we drew the parabola, it would kind of look something like this. Oh crap. if we drew the parabola, it would kind of look something like this. Sorry for bad drawing. But the thing is, right here, this would be undefined when this wouldn't count if we plugged it into the function h of x, because x wouldn't equal 2, it would actually end up equaling 3, which would most likely be up there. But what if we wanted to find the limit of f of x as x approached 2? So if we went and we followed before and after 2 towards the value of 2, if we go this way, it's approaching that value, and if it's going this way, it's not approaching that value. So even though we have it actually equals 3 when x equals 2, the function isn't going towards that value of 3. So actually, it's kind of bad representation. It would be more down here on this value. So this right here would equal 4, because as you can know, 2 squared is 4, and so both of these are approaching 4. So if we went here, if we went like x equals 1.9, it would probably be like 3.8, 3.9. It would go closer towards that. And then if we did like 2.1, it would be like 4.1, and then slowly getting closer and closer to that value 4. So for both sides, it is approaching 4. So the limit as x approaches 2 of f of x, or h of x, is 4. And yeah, it's a lot to understand, but we'll dive more into it in further videos.